What's going on YouTube? Cloverbells here, back with another Scarlet Violet team building video, and today we're going to be focusing around the Ting Lu. And again, this is the last option that we have for the Treasures of Ruin Pokemon, even though we actually used it already in our first building video for regulationC. That one was with FlutterMane Chi stuff. So if you didn't get a chance to take a look at that one, make sure you watch that video. But this one I really wanted to focus specifically around Ting Lu rather than having it as an option as we did in that video. So Ting Lu is extremely bulky, just like Wo-Chien, and you might even find both of them on the same team because Wo-Chien will reduce attack damage, Ting Lu reduces special attack damage, so then it just makes your entire team bulky. All right, but I have some ideas in terms of what you can do with Ting Lu. And again, if this is something you're interested in, if you're trying to build a squad, if you're trying to go to Fort Wayne, which many of you are, and you have done already, make sure you book a session with me in terms of team building. Again, that's a tier 3 sub to the channel. If you look in the video description or if you look in the comments section, I have a link posted where you can sign up for coaching, and then we can build you a squad to get ready for either that upcoming regional or a team for ladder, or just like something for maybe even like an upcoming online tournament. All right, so take a look and see if that's something that you're interested in and sign up. Okay, but as far as like Ting Lu, I think in terms of like where you want to start, I think you always go with this. You always start with Maushold and you always start with Annihlape. Okay, and this is something that has been done already. It's a proven core. As far as like just having something that's super bulky and can deal a lot of damage, especially along with the Annihlape stuff, right? Because remember, with the Annihlape, you're going something with this, like Rage Fist, Drain Punch, a bulk up stuff, and then Protect. And then this is something like with leftovers, right? And with Maushold, again, something that's very standard with like the safety goggles. Then you have Follow Me, then you have Beat Up. Then you have Super Fang for the big chip damage, and then Protect in this last slot. Okay, so the idea here is you're relying on Friend Guard to give you this, extra bulk on your Annihlape, and then the bulk up stuff will give you, defense boost, and then you rely on Ting Lu as well to just give you like special attack damage reduction, and then this entire core is just super bulky. You could even do like Ting Lu Maushold stuff, and then just deal a bunch of chip damage with Super Fang, and then Ting Lu can be a little bit more offensive with its coverage moves, especially when you have an Assault Vest already combined with the Friend Guard. Then it just becomes really hard to remove over time. So I think you always start here, and some of the more successful teams that we've seen in the online tours have used this 3, and then the other 3 is just really up to you. What has been done that we're not going to build in this video, but what has been done is stuff like this with Tyranitar and the Lycanroc stuff. Okay, this has been done and it has been successful already. Now, even though we're not going with this route, I still think it works very well. And then over here, you just have like the FlutterMane stuff, right? With the choice specs. And then what you're able to do with FlutterMane, choice spec stuff, along with this core of Tyranitar, Lycanroc, is just be like super offensive, with your moves. You're just going for like Moonblast stuff, Dazzling Gleam, Shadow Ball. And I think Size Shock makes a lot of sense because if you consider, the Wo-Chiens and the Ting Lus, they're going for like the Terra Poison stuff, which is exactly what we're going for. So then you need something to be able to hit it with, and just having that option with Choice Specs, Size Shock just makes a lot of sense. And then now again with the Lycanroc, you're still going with the Focus Sash here, and then just the typical Endeavor stuff, with Rock Slide, Close Combat, Endeavor, and then Protect, right? Something like this. All right, that's Rock Blast, Rock Slide. Okay, and then with Tyranitar, now because the Assault Vest is here, what has been done is now with the Choice Band, you're just dealing a bunch of damage here. I actually like Lumberry here sometimes just because I don't want to get burned and whatnot, but Choice Band makes a lot of sense. Again, with Rock Slide, Assurance, and then, just the low click Terra Blast stuff with Terra Flying. Now, this is something that has been proven and successful already in some tours. It's been done by like at least 3 or 4 people. So if you're interested in that regard, in using this kind of team with the sand stuff, definitely give it a go. I may even like feature this like in another video, just so like, we already did a sun video. How about a sand team, right? And this is what a good sand team looks like right now. But this is not what we're gonna do in this video. But if you're interested, definitely book a session with me and we can do an EV spread there. But as far as like what I want to do with these 3, I think just going a little bit more defensive, but still offensive at the same time, with like Dragonite stuff. Dragonite Chien Pao, I think is also really good, because now you're reducing defense of your opponents, and then you're just dealing big damage. Annihilape's definitely gonna love that. Ting Lu definitely loves that, of course. So you're very physical, and then you combine that with the Friend Guard stuff, along with the Ting Lu Vessel of Ruin to reduce special attack damage. Is actually really nice. And then over here you just go like FlutterMane again, just for a special damage reduction. And again, the Maushold Flutter Mane stuff is going to be really good. And this 6 has been done in the tournament already by a couple people, so shoutouts to them. All right, I think Cloudio from Italy, a very strong VGC player, he used this 6, but we're going to do a different kind of moveset and EV spread from his 6. But you know, that's okay, right? You're going to see like the same 6, you know, running around, but then we're just going to have different variants, right? So from here, I definitely like, of course, Stomping Tantrum as your ground coverage, and then Heavy Slam. I feel like these two moves are like staples. The Heavy Slam is really good just because you can snipe opposing Flutter Manes and then just deal like big damage right back. And then from here, I do like Throat Chop, okay, as like my dark coverage. You can go for like Ruination for chip damage, but then you already have the Super Fang here. So what I think you can do in terms of like variance is if you go Ruination here, all right, then instead of Super Fang, then you just do like Baby Doll Eyes, and this way you get like an active form of Intimidate. Okay, so I think that makes a lot of sense. But if you don't do that, then I think you have to go Super Fang here as your chip damage. But from here, what I would do is again, just Throat Chop, your dark coverage move. And then, believe it or not, Fissure is actually kind of standard on a set like this. It gives you an out where you may not have an out. So you can click it, because the way I see it is, if you're losing already, all right, and you have no outs, then Fissure at least gives you that out, okay? And if it misses, that's okay. You were gonna lose anyway, you know? So you gotta think like that. So this way you can turn an unwinnable matchup into all of a sudden a winnable matchup, okay? And it just gives you that out. So if you're fine with that, great. If not, then you can definitely go for like another coverage move, where you can just consider like Body Press here. But then I don't really like Body Press because we're gonna go Adamant anyway, and we're gonna go pretty much Adamant up to the third EV bump here. But as far as like another coverage move, you can definitely consider Earthquake next to Dragonite. That's also an option. You can even just do Rock Slide, or you can even do like Snarl or Ruination again. But I don't want to double up with Ruination and Super Fang. So is there any other like consistent moves that we can go with here? I think just Fissure is just solid, man. Like, I'm not gonna lie, Fissure is just pretty good. Again, it has that out. Most times you're clicking these two moves anyway, right? And with the occasional Throat Chop. So yeah, the Maushold is relatively standard. We're gonna go Terra Ghost, by the way, just because of the fighting move that we can dodge. And then the Annihlape, again, Terra Fire is also really consistent. You know, you're able to resist the Flutter Mane Fairy stuff. So that's another way of doing it. You can even do like Annihlape Terra Water as another thing, but I like Fire just so that way I can't really get burned. Dragonite here, so you can go Choice Band here. I've seen this done, and you can definitely go like either Inner Focus or Multi-Scale. It depends on what you value. Again, with Multi-Scale, you're able to take like one big hit, but because you have the Maushold already, I kind of just like Inner Focus. But in some of the videos, some of the battles that I'm going to show you in terms of like a test, I was using Multi-Scale. But you could definitely do Choice Band, where you can just do like Extreme Speed, okay, and then go like Outrage here, and then Low Kick, and then some other coverage move like Terra Blast, Terra Flying. So you can definitely consider doing that, and then just go over here, okay? And this is a very standard, consistent, you know, Choice Band set. I did not build or consider like Choice Band because I don't really like going one item here, okay? And I know on some of these tournament teams, they were doing like Choice Band and Choice Specs. I will almost not do that. All right, and like there's nothing wrong with it. It's just like my own playstyle. I like having options and being able to click something else besides being locked into one move. But definitely Choice Band Dragonite works here. I will show you an alternate move set, you know, with what we're gonna do with this team. But as far as like ChienPao, it's gonna be, of course, Ice Spinner. Okay, then with Sucker Punch, Sacred Sword, or even Throat Chop is also pretty good. I do like Sacred Sword. It's really nice into Dondozo, and then Protect here. Now, if you don't like this, if you rather have something like Haze to remove, you know, the boost, that's also good. Just be aware of, you know, you have an Annihlape here that's boosting up as well, so you can definitely also consider that. But If you like Sacred Sword, then you can definitely consider it. Or if you like Throat Chop, also another option. You know, it just really depends on you as the player. But I also like Focus Sash over here, just overall. And, you know, just something that is relatively consistent on Chien Pao, which also means that we're going to do a different kind of item on FlutterMane. Again, if you like the choice specs, you know, you can definitely go back to what movesets that I was showing you earlier with, like, you know, the Dazzling Gleam, the Moonblast, the Shadow Balls, and then here you can do like Power Gem. Okay, you could even do that because you might have something to click against the Terrafire Annihilapes, something against the Terra Flying stuff, or you can definitely do like Psyshock again just for the poison coverage against the Wo-Chiens and the Ting Lus running around. So you could definitely consider that. Or if you like having Protect on your FlutterMane and you want to go like the bulky route that we've been doing, then you can definitely do Life Orb or Booster Energy. I like Life Orb in this case because what we're going to do here is I'm going to put Shadow Ball here. I was playing around this and I was like, where's my, you know, kind of Trick Room matchup here? I kind of like substitute FlutterMane in this regard and then just having Protect. Instead of substitute, you could have your own Trick Room just to play around that kind of matchup where, you know, now you're just relying on your TingLu to deal the damage and then flip their Trick Room upside their head, or flip the Tailwind teams upside their head. Or you can even do like Perish as another out, right? Good against Dondozo stuff for sure. So you can definitely consider that, and it gives you another kind of way to play the FlutterMane. Or you can just do like straight up Dazzling Gleam and just rely on Maushold, FlutterMane, and then just keep clicking Dazzling Gleam, just doing a bunch of chip damage, and then relying on, you know, the Dragonite, Chien Pao, Annihlape, or even the TingLu to come in the back and just finish things off potentially, right? You could even consider that. Or again, you could definitely run substitute. Again, it really all depends on you as the player, but as you know, in terms of using this 6, this is the way I would do it, okay? And then from here, you know, just go like Terra Fairy just to deal a bunch of extra fairy damage. Though Chien Pao, again, I also still like Terra Ghost, you know, just for, you know, dodging the fake out, you know, resisting the fire damage, resisting the fighting damage, and technically it's not even resisted, it does nothing because you're going for the ghost type. You can also go Terra Fire because, again, that'll make you resist the fairy move and you take neutral damage from the fighting attack anyway. So there's that regard. So if you like Terra Fire, that's also good. And, you know, you can't get burned because, you know, you become that fire option. So that's another way to try and play the Chien Pao. And it really all depends on you as a player. I'm just showing you multiple options, right? But for the time being, I will opt for the Terra Ghost, but Terra Fire is kind of nice. I have seen it. It's really, really good. Now, in terms of the Dragonite set, I like Lumberry here, okay? Just for that reason, you know, not being able to get burned. And if you run Outrage Lumberry is actually kind of nice because, you know, if you get confused afterwards, then the Lumberry helps you remove that. So in that regard, you can keep that. But also in terms of like a moveset, you definitely keep these two in that sense. If you want to keep Outrage, I think Outrage Lumberry is really, really good. But if you don't like it, if you want something like more consistent stuff, then you can literally just double up on the Ice Spinner coverage and the Stomping Tantrum. And then, believe it or not, I did like Tailwind on this Dragonite set just because, you know, Annihlape can be faster, Chien Pao can be faster, FlutterMane can be faster, your own Dragonite can be faster, and you can start clicking these coverage moves. But if you're just clicking E-Speed anyway, then, you know, you're not going to really care so much about Tailwind or Trick Room in that regard. And if it was, you know, the NDD Hattering stuff or NDD Armor stuff, you just click Ice Spinner and just remove their terrain, and they don't do as much damage, right? So this is the 6 I would do with. And again, if you like Outrage, definitely go with the Outrage. I can probably just post like different Pokepaste with different sets. But as far as like the 6, this is the 6 I would do. All right, so now what we're gonna do is just round out the team with our general EV spreads and show you how we got them, okay? And then we'll showcase it in a couple of test battles. So let's take a look. All right, so let's go back to the TingLu spread over here. So we basically established that we're gonna go Adamant and pretty much almost max attack. This is just so that we can exert a decent amount of offensive pressure with, like, you know, Stomping Tantrum and Throat Chops. So what we want to do here, like, I look at this and, you know, this reminds you of like Great Tusk and even Iron Hands, where you have just triple digits in HP, attack, and defense, and then your special defense is the weaker of the 4. But like special defense with the Assault is actually pretty solid. Like this base stat of 80 is already like above average, and then you consider, you know, the Vest of Ruin and then the Assault Vest, and this thing is like super bulky, right? And considering this, 125 base defense and then 155 HP, this is one of the bulkiest Pokemon as they come. So honestly, what I'm gonna do here is just pretty much put just 12 points in special defense, believe it or not. And the reasoning for this is just because I want an even number for the Assault Vest, because the 1.5 multiplier boost will give me if it was an odd number, it'll give me a decimal, which would round it down. But at least in this case, because I'm getting a 1.5 boost with an even number, it'll come out to a whole number, and that's really all I want from that. And then you just have like base 4 points in speed and HP. This is all I really need. 231 HP is already like enough. I don't need any more than that. And then you can see how it all works out, right? You still have 252 EVs left in defense, and that's exactly what we're doing. So we have a good balance of our defensive bulk and alongside our special defense bulk with the Assault Vest. And then you combine that with the Vessel of Ruin, and you're actually like very, very tanky and very, very bulky. So this is just a basic Ting Lu spread. Now, can you consider body press here? You can, but if I were to do that, then I would just go for a defensive nature and have a little bit more defensive bulk than that, and invest less in our attack stat, right? But that's another set for another time. And if you want that body press set, then just comment in the video description below, and I'll give you a body press set in terms of an EV spread. The Maushold here, so a couple of different Maushold spreads, but the one that I find that I like a lot is just to be going about this much. This will outspeed Goldengos, the timid ones. So you see how you reach the first benchmark here, the first bump, and when you go from 152 to 154, this is one of our EV bumps. So 68 defensible, 68 speed will do that. And then from there, of course, just max HP, right? You just want this thing to be super bulky and use the friend guard to stay on the field for an extended period of time and provide that friend guard for your allies, right? And then from there, I have a bunch of EVs, but of course you're just going to put 1 point in the attack set over here. But then with this 184 EVs, what are you going to do with it? So, when you pair Maushold Annihilape, one of the few things you have to worry about is the FlutterMane stuff, right? Because you have to redirect the Moonblast from the FlutterMane away from the Annihilape, because it's just going to do too much damage and it's going to KO it. So then, can the Maushold stay on the field and survive a Choice Specs Moonblast FlutterMane, right? So if you go into the damage calculator, and it turns out that when you put up 252 HP EVs, then you have 252 timid FlutterMane, and then you implement the Choice Specs. All right, this is the damage calculator. So right now it's a 25% chance to OHKO, but then if you invest some SPDF like this, you can get the calc that you need, and it turns out it's just 36 investment, right? So that's all we really need out of our Maushold. You actually just need 28, but I'm just gonna go 36 here. And then from here, you just have 148 EVs left, and then that's all you need, right? It's just like leftover bulk that you can just dump into defense, because you already got the calc that you need, so now you just dump the rest into defense, all right? The Annihilape, more or less the same reason. Sometimes you might need to protect the Maushold one turn and then still take the Moonblast from the FlutterMane. And how would you be able to do that? So some starter EVs. First of all, we're going to go Adamant, of course. And then we just need about 12 speed. We don't really need speed on our Annihilape. I rather just make it super tanky and super bulky. I will go to the first benchmark in the attack stat. Again, that 152 to 154 mark where you get 2 points in the attack stat. I'm going to invest 180 EVs in my HP. This is just to optimize the leftovers recovery, right? Because it's 1/16th of your max HP. 1/16th of 208 is going to be 12. So 12 HP recovery per turn. If I had 207, it's going to be 11.9375, which rounds down to 11. I'm losing out on recovery. And if it's 209, then it's like 12.01, something like that, which rounds down to 12. So I'm just wasting EVs that way. So if I just put it at a 180 investment, I get the perfect 208 for leftovers recovery. And now I have 280 EVs left to play with. And now the calc that I'm looking for is, with Friend Guard from Maushold, can I survive a Moonblast from a Choice Specs FlutterMane? So let's take a look at that. So we go into Annihilape over here. All right. We put in 50 investment. We put level 50, I should say, 180 HP EVs. And then this doesn't matter, but of course, Adamant Nature. And then you can see Moonblast just does a crap ton of damage. But then if we put in the Friend Guard here, and now it looks like we can survive this calc, right? Because now it's just 87.5% chance to KO. So then from there, how much special defense investment am I going to need? So let's take a look at that. All right, so here we go. Just up this number. and we're getting closer and closer to surviving this, which is good. All right, I'm at 108 right now, and right around here, so about 148 investment, right? But then you also understand, you know, sometimes I may have to take the beat up, right, and along with the Moonblast, right, because I'm trying to activate the Rage Fist stuff. So because of that, I'm gonna invest a little bit more, you know, just about 3% more, and then the rest can just go into my defense like this, right? So that's all I'm gonna really do, right like this, right? This is pretty good. Okay, so you can survive the Moonblast FlutterMane this way, right? And of course, again, we have the optimized leftovers recovery, and we're hitting the bump in the attack stat. So it's a very bulky Annihilape, and after bulk up, again, it's you get a nice even numbers in your attack and your defense, which is really good, right? Because if this was an odd number, then it comes out to a decimal, which would round down after the bulk up, right? So at least we keep our even numbers in this regard, which is really, really nice. All right, Dragonite over here. So with Dragonite, again, the same Dragonite spread we've been using every single video. I just like to go 196 stat over here, right? And then this will optimize for the Tyranitar Sand Chip damage that you're going to be taking. You can just max out your attack like this and just put 1 point in the bulk stats like this. This is totally fine. And you only need 104 after Tailwind to outspeed the Iron Bundle, so that's always good. 107 will do it for Dragapult, but Dragapult's not really running around at the moment. So at the very least, it'll give you the chance to outspeed those speed creepers. But then you understand that there are probably other Dragapults, or Dragonites, I should say, that are doing that as well. So then you just take a little bit off the attack and just put it in the speed, and now you can outspeed those speed creepers, right? So there's the logic behind that. All right, Chien Pao, this is the easiest one in the book. It's a Focus Sash Mod, so you can just go simply Jolly with 252 attack and speed. Nothing else needs to be said there. The FlutterMane, I like using the same FlutterMane spread I've been using in every single team that I've been building. I know, what's his name, Edu, the world champion, uses a very, very similar spread to mine, and so that makes a lot of sense. But again, the idea is with the 156 investment, you're outspeeding Adamant Dondozo, Adamant 252. You just need 1 point in special defense because you already have a ton as it is. And then just the first benchmark in special attack because you already have a Life Orb anyway. So you're already dealing like a bunch of damage. But if you much prefer the boost energy, you can definitely do that. But what Edu does is he actually just maxes the defense and then just puts the rest into HP like this. And that's totally fine, right? Nothing wrong with this. I like to go a little bit of the reverse route where, you know, we'll keep these three stats the same, and in the essence, we'll just go a little bit more HP. We'll optimize the Life Orb chip because, you know, 1/10 of your HP. You know, you always want to end in a 9. If you were to do this, now you're taking 16 damage per turn, whereas if you did this, you're taking 15.9, which rounds down to 15 damage per turn of Life Orb tick. All right, so you're cheating the threshold, and then the rest just goes into defense like this. Okay. You're just undercutting your values here with the Life Orb. So that's all you really need with the FlutterMane spread. And again, if you like the booster energy, that's totally fine. But I just like a little bit more damage. And Life Orb substitute is actually a pretty good combination. So it just makes a lot of sense. And then from here, I think this is it, right? And again, I'm going to show you some variants in some of these movesets that you can do with some of these mods. Like I mentioned, you can definitely do Choice Band Dragonite instead of the Lumberry Tailwind stuff, along with Outrage over here. You can definitely do like Choice Specs FlutterMane, which is definitely the preferred route for some of you, but I just like having Protect and not being locked into one of my moves. So I'll show you that spread at the end of the video, but this is pretty much it in terms of how I like to play this 6, and I know it's been successful for some people in some tours, but I just wanted to give my take on it in terms of how I like to play it. And now what I'm going to do is show you some test battles where we use this team and see if some of our tech choices can come in handy. All right, so let's take a look. Okay, so this is another mirror matchup with the Maushold Annihilape stuff with the Great Tusk. And he has a Grimmsnarl here for some reason, and along with the Chiyu, but no other FlutterMane here to take advantage of those special defense drops. There's a Gashadon there for some reason. I couldn't tell you why, but Grimmsnarl is always interesting every time we see it. Of course, that's one of our favorite Pokemon on the channel. But honestly, like, you know, the FlutterMane kind of just goes in on this, right? Because you have a Grimmsnarl, you have a Great Tusk, and then there's an Annihilape here. So yes, of course, they have the Terra option, right? But then you can just pretty much force those Terras to make it a little bit unfavorable. But FlutterMane does do well here. And then in the back, I kind of just want like the Chien Pao just to do like extra physical damage against a lot of what he has over here, especially against that Maushold over there. And then finally, you know, the Annihlape is also really, really good. It's good for the Chiyu. Also good against the Great Tusk because you can go for bulk up stuff. Good against his opposing Annihlape and even the Maushold. So I think that's what I want to go with. So I'm going to lead with the Maushold and the FlutterMane and put on a bunch of pressure. And this is where, you know, you kind of miss Dazzling Gleam in a little bit because I can just like go for a Dazzling Gleam here, just chip damage on a lot of these things. And, you know, the Friend Guard kind of helps me a lot here. But I don't have Dazzling Gleam. So this is, again, where maybe the Choice Specs Dazzling Gleam does seem very, very solid. But, you know, we can still play around it. So I'm going to protect the Maushold here and not lose everything turn 1. I'm going to go for the Moonblast and see how he's forced to do Terra Ground. Otherwise, he just goes splat over here. And I would imagine this is like maybe a Headlong Rush, which probably kills me, but we'll see what happens. I still have like, you know, Annihlape in the back. But actually just goes for Earthquake, which is very, very interesting. And of course, I'm going to live it. I'm going to protect the FlutterMane here and just deal like more chip damage with Super Fang. And again, stall another turn of screens. He goes for Earthquake again. And he actually just kills his own Grimmsnarl, which is kind of funny. I didn't think he would actually do that again. But there's a Follow Me here. And this is the perfect time where I figured, let me just go for the sub now, just in case. And if he does remove my Maushold for whatever reason, then at the very least I can get a free switch into something else, right? So I chip his Maushold. He goes for Rock Slide instead. Unbeknownst to me, I don't know why he did that. Maybe he just wanted to chip my FlutterMane, but I did notice again he did protect his Maushold. But again, why would you do that? You just go for the Earthquake. But here's my Annihlape. He goes for Rock Slide here, so this is a good play because we're able to resist it. We're a fighting type. And now we can just simply go for the redirection and the bulk up stuff. And he wanted to self beat up into his Annihlape, but because I clicked the Follow Me, he's unable to do that. So opposing Mausholds are really good against each other because you can deny the beat ups. And here comes my bulk up, which is really nice. So now I get a lot of good defensive bulk along with my own Friend Guard, which is really nice. So now he has to make some other kind of play because I Follow Me pressure. So I'm going to take this chance. You know, because I do have this Follow Me pressure, I'm actually going to switch it out. And, you know, he's probably considering, oh, I can't do beat up anymore. He's going to redirect it, so I have to do something else. So I'm just going to go into my own FlutterMane over here. He protects now. And actually, I actually just take another turn to protect. So this is a turn where, like, we're both going for Drain Punches into each other's Maushold that both protected. But now this is where I go into the FlutterMane. And this is where he goes for beat up. I hate this play because if I just went for Follow Me, this actually gets stopped. And he goes for Rage Fist, which is, again, if I click Follow Me, that Rage Fist is going into a Ghost type. So that's a very huge risk. Maybe he read me, but, you know, I'm a little upset about that. But that's okay. We do have Chien Pao here. I'm going to preserve the FlutterMane one more turn. Goes for another Follow Me, of course. He doesn't want his Annihlape to die. And he's going into the Chien Pao here. But thankfully, we have Sash. And now, pretty much, we're in a pretty good spot because now we just outspeed everything. Ice Spinner cleans up the Great Tusk. And we're a Life Orb Flutter Mane. The light screen is gone, and we just remove it from the game. So there's that. Okay, so good play from, you know, staggering the pieces, you know, protecting one slot, and then not letting the other slot die immediately. Substitute did come in handy, but, you know, I also did like potential plays from the Dazzling Gleam. All right, so yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at another one. Okay, so this is the Wo-Chien stuff with, you know, the Garganical Palafin. So Leech Seed plus Salt Cure is annoying because, you know, in order to reset the Salt Cure, you have to, you know, switch it out. But sometimes it's hard, especially when you have like Leech Seed pressure from the Wo-Chien on whatever comes in. So it gets a little bit more interesting. And Volcarona, Iron Hands, and FlutterMane is a really, really solid trio. And I look at this team and was like, oh man, this is annoying. So ideally, we still have our bunch of physical options here. So he goes with the Iron Hands Palafin combo. I went with Dragonite and Chien Pao just to put on a bunch of pressure in the beginning. And the only thing that really outspeeds me over here is the FlutterMane. So I wasn't really afraid of that because at the very least I can force a speed tie. And if he's a bulky FlutterMane, then, you know, I have the speed advantage here. But interestingly enough, if you look at what he does, he does go for the fake out play, but not into my Chien Pao, but he goes into my Dragonite. So at the time, this was a multi-scale Dragonite, but I still like Inner Focus. And then there's the Jet Punch, not doing a whole lot. I'm going for the Ice Spinner here, and here's the Stomping Tantrum tech that absolutely just removes the Iron Hands for play. This is why I like ground coverage on Dragonite so much. Now, technically, we had it on Ting Lu, but again, Ting Lu's not on the field. So He didn't expect that. So down goes the Iron Hands. Now he goes into FlutterMane. So I need to preserve both these pieces. So I'm just going to, at the very least, go ahead and, you know, Terra the Dragonite so I don't die, and try and go for the Tailwind play. So this way I can outspeed with it and potentially just go for physical moves. And then just protect the Chien Pao, at least for this turn. There's the Wo-Chien, right? He's reducing physical damage. Makes a lot of sense. He makes a good play here, right? He goes for Terra into his Fairy, but that's actually a big mistake because he kind of needs the Ghost typing. Otherwise, my Extreme Speed just does so much damage next turn, right? But he's probably counting for the fact that he can beat me this turn. So I go into the normal type. I protect the Chien Pao. It's Dazzling Gleam, so that's definitely not picking up. Does a lot of damage, but here's the Tailwind play. And I'm not really concerned with the FlutterMane as of this moment because I have enough in the back for it. I want to just remove the Wo-Chien first. And he actually just goes for Trick Room, trying to, again, counter my Tailwind play, which is actually very, very interesting. But I have, you know, I have priority moves, so that doesn't really matter. So here's one of them. Here's the E-Speed. Goodbye, FlutterMane. I'm like, okay, that was a great Trick Room play. Dragonite ChienPao is just so good. And again, this is not even like banded Dragonite. And now we just go one-on-one with the Palafin. We crit the Palafin here. He has Drain Punch, so he's able to actually at least recover a little bit, which is smart on his part. But now we just have bulk up pressure with the Annihlape, and you know, he does remove our Dragonite, but again, that's fine because we have bulk up, and now all we have to do is just click one move. And there's still one more turn of Trick Room, actually 2 more turns of Trick Room, and Jet Punch doesn't even get it to half, right? And now we just go for the Throat Chop here. Get it to a little bit of chip damage, and the Drain Punch just cleans it up. So, what did we learn from there? Dragonite ChienPao is pretty good, and then Ting Lu and Annihlape in the back can kind of just clean up a little bit. But the Tailwind could have come in handy, but because he clicked Terra Fairy, it wasn't really needed. I could just click E-Speed, and it just removes it from the game. So a little bit of a misplay from our opponent, but you can see the combinations here. All right, so let's go ahead and get you to the Pokepaste section and get you guys out of here. All right, folks, and here's the Pokepaste one last time. So again, it's a pretty solid 6, I would say. You know what you're getting with like Maushold and Annihilape, but then you add Ting Lu, and now you have a trio that's like super bulky. And then Dragonite ChienPao, we know we're getting over there, especially with like Tailwind stuff. You can just make your Annihilape and your ChienPao super fast, along with your FlutterMane for that matter. And FlutterMane, again, you have variance in terms of like what you can play with that third move set over there. If you want to run Protect, you can run Trick Room, you can run Substitute, you can run Parasol. I think all of them are good. But in terms of like a non-Protect set with FlutterMane and other stuff, you can go, again, Choice Specs FlutterMane here. I went Modest 116 over here. And then you have Dazzling Gleam back again, along with, you know, Choice Specs, along with Psyshock for the Poison Terra on opposing Ting Lu's and Wo-Chien's. Then Dragonite over here has the Choice Band, Extreme Speed stuff. You probably wouldn't go Terra Flying anymore, so I should probably change that. That would be Terra Normal, and then just go with the Extreme Speed. Then you have Outrage once again, and then the Annihilape, and pretty much everything else stays the same. But you can put, you know, Baby Doll Eyes over here, and then Ruination Press over here. Ruination. But then over here, I did change the nature to Impulse, so this way you get a defense boost, and then you're able to go for Body Press at the very least. But like, I feel like at that point, it's just not like super optimal. It's okay, you can have something against like those dark types, but at the end of the day, at this point, I'd rather just use something like Mudsdale, because then at least this way, if I'm taking damage, then I'm getting defense boost, making my Body Press it harder. But I totally get it. But I just think Adamant is just the way to go on it, especially with like Fissure. Again, it just gives you an out for some stuff that you may not have an out for, but at least you have a chance for it. Like if I told you had a 30% chance to win the lotto, yeah, I'm taking it. It's not like super high, but it's still like decent enough percentage where it could happen. So at the very least, you have this option for these spreads here, but it really all depends on how you want to play it. I prefer this way because I like having, you know, some flexible options. I like being able to click Protect. I like having Tailwind on my Dragonite sometimes, along with the Lumberry. And I do like Fissure along with an Adamant set on Ting Lu. So let me know what you think of this kind of Ting Lu squad. And again, if this is something you're interested in, check out coaching on the channel, where you're able to sign up with the tier 3 sub on the channel. Check the video description below, check the comments section, or every single video has a join button. If you're trying to build a team to go to Fort Wayne, or if you're trying to build a team to, you know, jump on the ladder with, or play in some online tournaments, make sure you sign up for coaching, and we'll do a team building session with you over a one-on-one call on Discord, and I show you how to make EV spreads like this and do damage calcs and just show you the nuances and the ways of competitive team building. All right, so that's going to be it for now, folks. We'll be back in another video in the next one. Peace out. Have a good night.